3, 2, 1.
Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, Senator Ping Lacson, and former Defense Secretary Norberto Gonzales held a joint press conference on Easter Sunday to declare that they are not backing out from the presidential race. Moreno says it is Vice President Leni Robredo who should withdraw. Other groups and political parties slammed the joint press conference, calling it elitist and macho politics. And while the three presidentiables were having a joint press conference at the five-star hotel, VP Robredo decided to spend time with Sumilao farmers. Some Holy Week traditions made a comeback this year, but some devotees were disappointed as other activities remained prohibited. And Barangay Ginebra is now just one win away from snatching the Governor's Cup trophy after taking Game 5 of the PBA Finals. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Three candidates trailing the presidential surveys banded together to declare that they will finish this race. And one of them even called on survey second placer Vice President Leni Robredo to withdraw her candidacy. Camille Samonte with the report.
Hinding-hindi kami magbibitiw sa kampanya. Ang bawat isa sa amin ay magpapatuloy sa aming mga sariling kandidatura upang maging karapat-dapat na pagpilian ng sambayanan.
3 weeks before the May 9 polls, three presidential candidates emphasized that they will not withdraw their respective presidential bids. This despite supposed attempts to have them withdraw in favor of survey second placer Vice President Leni Robredo. Presidential candidates Senator Ping Lacson, former Defense Secretary Norberto Gonzales, and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno held a press conference at a hotel in Makati City on Sunday. Senator Manny Pacquiao was supposed to join them, but didn't make it to the venue at the time of the conference. Lacson said they had to pursue the unification to show people that there are other options for the presidency, aside from frontrunner former Senator Bongbong Marcos and Vice President Robredo.
Parang nililimit na lang yung choice or choices sa dalawa. No? Nakakahon na lang, and that's the reason why we have to do this. That among 111 or so million Filipinos, hindi lang dalawa yung pagpipilian. Actually, meron pang ibang tumatakbo.
Moreno, Pacquiao, Lacson, and Gonzales are trailing behind Robredo in the presidential preference survey.
Talaga po natin gustong talunin yung number 1. Baka dapat po palitan natin yung player natin sa number 2. Dahil napakalayo po kasi ng diferensya. Ang isa pong ibig sabihin niyan, ayaw ng taong bayan natin na itong number 2 ang lumaban sa ating number 1 sa laban. Kaya palagay ko mas mabuti na medyo, kung akong masusunod dito, kung tatanungin niyo ako, siguro po dapat isang tabi natin yung number 2. At tingnan natin yung 3, 4, 5, 6, baka nahandoon ang pwedeng lumaban sa number 1.
Lacson said the camp of Robredo has been pushing them to back out from presidential race. He also then recalled the unification efforts made by Robredo before the filing of certificate of candidacy in October last year.
Kasi pare-pero yung experience namin. Kaming dalawa ni Mayor Isko, actually, bukod pa doon sa kinakausap, gusto pa kaming hubaran. No? They're trying to strip us of our supporters, yung mga support groups. Nangyari sa akin, yung reforma na hijack. And si Mayor Isko, yung kanyang ikaw na no, sa Cebu, ganun din. So, marami talaga attempts. Doon nakita ko yung kung anong intention eh. The intention was not to unite the so-called opposition, but to unite under one candidate.
Moreno then asked Robredo to instead withdraw from the presidential race.
I'm calling for Leni to withdraw. Kasi whatever you're doing is not effective against the Marcos. Withdraw, come and join us. Join us. Pwede pasab. Pasab naman. Baka kami maka 3 points. Isa sa amin.
Despite attacks against Robredo during the press conference, Lacson and Moreno reiterated that this show of unity press conference was not intended to be anti-Leni.
This is not an anti-Leni press conference. Doon nyo kasi dinadala yung tanong. Yung iba kasi nagtatanong parang may karga na eh.
This is not about being a woman and a man. This is all about the character. Character. That's nothing to do with the gender. And I wish them good luck. And sabi ko nga, kung gusto ninyo, supreme sacrifice. Let Leni withdraw.
Some social media users meanwhile slammed the candidates for holding a joint press conference at a five-star hotel after parts of the country were heavily devastated by tropical cyclone Agaton. This is how Lacson responded to our question.
I would just like to get your reaction because some netizens are pointing out why is there a need to hold a press conference in a five-star hotel considering that recently po may mga nasalanta ng bagyo.
Ako, I don't think that deserves a comment or an answer. I'm sorry.
For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
Meanwhile, the camp of Vice President Leni Robredo says every candidate has the choice to continue their bid till the end. But in a statement, Robredo spokesperson Barry Gutierrez also urged us to think about who benefits from these decisions. Gutierrez added that silence would have been a better move for the other candidates because this would, quote, exhibit less self-entitlement, fragility, and toxicity. On the other hand, VP Leni's running mate, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, calls the recent press conference a desperate move by some politicians. Pangilinan urged them to open their eyes and see that the strength of the Leni-Kiko campaign comes from the hard work of volunteers and not political maneuvers. While other national candidates chose to hold a press conference yesterday, Vice President Leni Robredo opted to spend Easter with Sumilao farmers. In a Facebook post, Robredo revealed that she and her daughters met with the Sumilao farmers and other farmers' organizations for lunch after attending Easter Mass. VP Leni thanked the farmers for their continued support for her campaign. Meanwhile, Labor leader and presidential candidate Cal Leody de Guzman had a humorous take on this press con held by the other male aspirants. On Twitter, de Guzman threw shade at the other male candidates by posting a photo of himself eating halo-halo. He said the halo-halo in South Cotabato is delicious and not as expensive as that at Manila Pen, where the press con was held. In a statement, Leody noted that he was indeed in South Cotabato to meet with the Tiboli community, and he says that he has no interest in participating in what he called games held by traditional and elitist politicians. The group Akbayan, meanwhile, called the event a historic missed opportunity, saying this brings little to no effect at stopping another Marcos presidency. Akbayan says the supposed show of unity among the male candidates only benefited Marcos at the expense of attacking Robredo. And the group is hoping that presidential candidates will choose to defend the country's interest in the remaining days before the elections and not their supposedly oversized egos. We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. With most of the country now under the most lenient COVID restrictions, several Holy Week traditions have made a comeback. Here's the story.
This group of faithfuls was happily strolling along Ortigas Extension last Monday, Thursday. But their yearly panata to walk all the way to the Cathedral of the Virgin of Antipolo was cut short this time around. They were barred from going any farther than the junction in Cainta. Even a group of riders who planned to travel to Antipolo were sent back home by authorities. Many of them were disappointed because this was supposedly their first year back on their panata ever since the pandemic began. Father Reynante Tolentino of the Antipolo Cathedral explained that they decided to halt all alay lakad activities due to the ongoing threat of COVID-19.
Actually, simula pa noong Ash Wednesday, inannounce natin na walang alay lakad. At nagpapasalamat ako sa mga deboto ng Mahal na Birhen kasi nakinig naman sila.
Meanwhile, in Quiapo, the image of the Black Nazarene was brought out of the Quiapo Church for the traditional Black Friday procession for the first time since the pandemic started. But the supposed procession of the Black Nazarene lasted only 20 minutes before the truck carrying the image was pushed back into the church. This after the devotees crowded the truck, prompting the ihos to cut the planned motorcade short.
Sadyang may mga deboto na hindi namin pakiusapan. Sa umpisa naman, lahat ng nasa Plaza Miranda behave, nakinig. Pero pagdating sa may Quinta area, base sa mga nasabi ng mga ihos, may mga lasing at may mga nakapaa na siguro sadyang hindi nila narinig o pinakinggan yung pakiusap namin.
Authorities said they anticipated the huge crowd of devotees during the first Black Nazarene procession in 2 years. But they said the problem was that most of the devotees disregarded protocols.
Part naman ito na mga senaryo na kung sakaling hindi makontrol ang mga deboto, balik kami agad. So kaysa maging delikado para sa lahat, kaya minabuti na natin na wag na ituloy.
But to give devotees the chance to still see the Black Nazarene, the doors of the Quiapo Church were opened to the public. Over in Marinduque, the traditional Moriones Festival also resumed festivities after 2 years. Since the onset of the pandemic, the usual revelries featuring colorful Morions made in the image of Roman soldiers during biblical times were toned down to simple processions. Festivities started at the town of Gasan on Maundy Thursday and went on for the entire day on Black Friday. About 500 locals were estimated to have joined the festival, while an estimated 2,000 tourists reportedly took part in the event. This is said to be the first time that foreign tourists were spotted enjoying the Moriones Festival in Marinduque. Arian Kalumbiran, we are One News.
Barangay Ginebra is now one win away from yet another PBA Governor's Cup title. The barangay once again turned to the best player of the conference, Scotty Thompson, to pull out a 115-110 win against the Meralco Bolts. Thompson either scored or assisted on 7 of the Gin Kings' last 15 points to close the door on Meralco, who came dangerously close at 98-97 with less than 5 minutes left in regulation. Ginebra will try to seal the deal in Game 6, which will be played on Wednesday at the Smart Araneta Coliseum, while the Bolts will try to force a winner-take-all Game 7. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us later at 9 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.